Hey, we're back.
Hey,
It's
there you
not
go.
Wednesday though, is it?
We're back. We're back. This is what? It's not Wednesday, right?
No, it's Thursday.
It
COVID
is
Carl.
Thursday. Yeah. Yeah. I completely lost track of all of the days of the week. Completely lost track. So now you're yelling at me now. Say it's not Wednesday. Calm down. Guess
But
what?
we really needed to go live. I tell you, we need to connect with you guys because it was like being kids in a candy store, this morning when the Siouan Staff Library vintages arrived.
There
The
you go with almost a week later, too late, but that's fine because we got them this morning. And you know what? We're joking about the days of the week, but I think we talked about it early on this morning. Tasting these wines is a treat. Tasting these wines side by side, it's an experience. Tasting, I just had a sip side by side right now. And there's some similarity in the three of the four of them, and but there's also some very distinctive approach and finish. So cool! I can't wait to talk to you about it. This is okay. So just to recap, this week is Riesling week. We decided to do a flash feature. Started yesterday. Siouan contacted us and say, "Hey, Card, I want to open up a couple very special stash of the library, some wine that we haven't sold in a decade." So yeah, we put together 2008, 2011, 2014, 16, and 18. It was the current release, and my favorite Rieslings of 2021, but also 2019. Which not been released yet. We know it's not going to be released until the end of the year. So we have these 6 wines ready to go at the winery. And now we're going to taste 14, 16, and 19. All 3 together. And we're going to compare with the 2018, the one that we have rated 94 points. And it made it to the top 10 last year. So how about that?
That sounds amazing. And so, guys, I started drinking wine in the pandemic, and Riesling's really grown on me. I am, especially these Rieslings, holy cow. But I got to say, this is the best learning experience I have ever had. It's exactly what we're about to do, tasting different vintages of the same wine. I really got to figure out, like, do I like them older? Do I like them fresher, younger? I've learned
calm down here. Calm down here.
Yes. So are we going to start with the newer ones or the older ones, Carl?
No, we're going to start with the older one. We're going to start with the 14. And why we haven't opened the 2008 and the 2011, it's because we already did a month ago.
Yeah.
A month ago during Riesling Day, that's 2008, semi-dry, absolutely blew up the old, the whole lineup. That was the best wine. After I rated 94 points of 2018 and made it to my top 10 wine of 2021, highest rated Riesling, 2008 rated even higher. One of a very rare wine that I rated 95 points. I had that question today on Facebook. 95 points. It doesn't happen very often. How many 95 points a year? It's like between 2 and 5. I've never rated more than 3 to 5 wines a year. And how many wines did we tasted last year, Mira? 800?
Over 800, yeah.
Over 800 wines, and there was at least it was 4 wines rated 95 points or better. 4 or 5.
Not a lot.
So do the math. It's not a whole lot. And so that 2008, it was extremely special in one texturally. The texture is just off the hook. The Hey, do you mind to do you have the page in front of you that you can read the tasting note that I we put together
Yeah.
after Riesling days, after Riesling
Yeah.
day,
So for the '08,
or
because
the
the '08
2008? Yeah,
just blew
just
everyone
to
away.
put people in the mood, just to put everyone in the mood.
Right. Okay, so this is what we said at the time. This wine was the clear favorite and the highest rated Riesling from International Riesling Day 2022. With a stunning 95 points, this wine displayed maturity, balance, and complexity at a level that I rarely experience. The sugar level has integrated throughout the years, leaving behind any heavy and sweet flavors. The slight petroleum has a proper place. The weight is at a perfect level. The flinty minerality is shining. The flavors of blood orange, apricot, key lime, and Meyer lemon are dominant and well integrated with lavender honey. Yes, that was so good. Lavender honey and apple crumble. This wine continued to evolve for a good 5 hours, making for great conversations, lengthy sensory experience. And that is so true because we opened it up on Riesling Day at the start of Riesling Day. We went live for 5 hours, or what, somewhere in the middle, let's say. We were live for 5 hours. We then got together with friends the day after, right?
Yeah,
And we tasted the whole lineup of about 35 amazing Rieslings. And still, this was, sometimes there's just a wine and it's not group think. Like we started doing some blind notes and stuff and then comparing. There's some wines that just everyone will agree. This one is different. This one stands at a
yeah.
different level.
I know, above and beyond. And it was not me the night of Riesling Day. It was the day after, and there was like the winemakers sitting there. There's the people who worked in wineries. There's people who knows the biz, people who have great palates. And to me, the same thing happened with the 2004 Syrah from Tinhorn Creek
Yes,
at
that was
Syrah Day. When you don't tell people what it is, and when everyone is tasting first, and you can see the faces changing and the eyes like lifting up and looking around, and like to look at the other people who are tasting around the table just to see their expression. If it's just you feeling that kind of like, whoa, what is that? And people are looking at each other. And I really, really saw that reaction of couple people around the table for Riesling Day when they had the '08. So yeah, just texturally, it's just like was just so suave, just so like
yeah.
mouth coating and like, but the bright acidity just still shine through the whole wine. And to me, Riesling is so exciting for that when it's well made. And excuse me, but Suan has been no, like people are calling her like the wizard of Rieslings of Niagara, all of these kind of names in the right way. She's passionate about it, and the result in the bottle is absolutely wow. So yeah, with people are starting to tune in, like, so this is impromptu. We have our friends from Ontario. Daryl, good evening. Well, good evening. It's pretty late down there, but yeah, we just thought we got the package this morning, Daryl, and we're like, okay, we have to go live and taste that. So we have open right behind 14, 16, 19, and 18 that we already had open yesterday. So boom. So should we?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so which one? We said we're going to do the oldest one first?
Yeah, let's start with the 14.
Yes.
Okay.
I like the old ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Hey, okay, people who are here, people who are listening to us, I want to know, what's your favorite Riesling? Like, who's your go-to Riesling producer? Or if you don't want to answer that question, that's fine. What is the oldest Riesling that you've drank in your life?
Yes, because
That can be another good question.
these babies can age a long time. Like we were having the '08 and beautiful complexity of flavors, but nowhere near like saying, oh, it's a little, oxidized.
Oh yeah, it's getting at the end of this curve. No, no,
And
no,
so
no,
that's
no.
what? That's
Yeah.
14 years. But I've heard Rieslings can age like for decades and decades, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Residual sugar is a preservative, but also the very high acidity. So you keep the structure high up. You keep the wine like, whoops, I this. So yeah, no, I was just doing signs, and it could have been confusing if kids were listening to me. So okay, so nose. The nose is not overly expressive here with the 2011. No, 2014. Sorry, 2014. That's what I have here. Not overly expressive, but I got some that key lime. Like it's slimy, not slimy, limey. So let's change that term. Citrusy. Definitely citrusy on the nose.
Carl.
Yeah, exactly. Still COVID, Carl. I'm still in my COVID wings. I may have came downstairs a couple times today. I may have went outside with my mask, but feeling way better. So yeah, citrusy on the nose, clear flint minerality, really, really clear. That peel, that not slimy, and see, I said limey, for God's sake.
No, she heard you both times.
That's that lemon peel, like the zest of it, like literally the peel also came up. I have a little bit of green apple on the nose. So citrusy so let's see what the palate is giving you here.
I love how you take your time, Carl. I think I had a sip when you were already still describing the nose, but wow, this is cool.
Bright acidity, bright. There's a nice texture though. Not as unctuous, not as suave as the 2008 for sure. Hey, look who's on! Back. The man, the myth, the legend, coming back from Riesling country. Marcel Morgenstern is back in the country. Here you go, just freshly arrived from Germany. So you need to tell us what the oldest vintage of Riesling you've tasted out there. So yes. So 14, not as suave, not as honey. Then we have with the 08, but there's that nice texture, round. It's really there's a ton of minerality, absolutely a ton of minerality. I feel like I can taste the peel of a lemon in there. There's a little bit of white flour, I would say. It's probably like a little bit like if I go for sushi and I have like jasmine, with the Thai food, the jasmine tea, not the green tea, but the jasmine tea. And maybe a little bit of ginger as well. So I got all of this, but minerality really, really stand out. Flinty, really flinty. Maybe a little bit of apricot in the back. Apricot at the end.
I like yellow, but this is my flake.
It's a beauty. Can't wait to tell you my Mira. Oh shoot, sorry. Can't wait to tell you my Mira scale rating. You get the experienced palate with Carl, and then you get the non very experienced but frank one with me.
There's not an extreme concentration. It's more in a straight line. I really like the ginger developing right now. There's a nice gingery mid palate mixed with the zesty part. Definitely no sweetness. There's no residual jumping out at any single point. It's on citrus, it's on Granny Smith and minerality. So Natalie McLean gave that wine 93 points early on after release. It's mouth watering. My mouth is still like watering. So, and you know what? Like, I completely agree with that 93 points. I am exactly where I wanted to be. It's long, it's evolved. This wine has much more to come. Hey, Mira, do you have that the chart that Sue-Ann sent over in term of
Yeah, I can pull it up right here. She sent us, so we had the most fun with Sue-Ann last night live.
That was awesome.
Such an amazing personality.
And
so much
and because I'm going straight to the 2018, I feel 14 has the same profile, but not the same, but a similar profile than the 2018. I recognize many of the same flavor.
I just had them side by side, and I would agree, yeah.
And is not as concentrated of the 2018. 18 is extremely dense and concentrated, but the same type of flavors pop up to my mind and my palate when I taste it.
Yeah, a real beauty. Here's the chart. Okay, I'll just pull it up on here for you. Whoops, one sec.
Yeah, very similar approach. There's a very, these are brothers. Absolutely. I would like to know more about, did she say cool on both vintage on 14 and 18?
So 14 was cool, 18 was warm.
18 was warm, okay. Anyway, I see lots of similarity.
Totally.
If you lick.
Oh yeah, it's got the saltiness, which we learned recently last week with Daniel Bonterin about the rosé master that we call that comes from volcanic soil, that saltiness, right?
Yeah, and I got that as well. So many there's many years to go on this wine.
Yeah, so this was the chart. So the 14 highest in RS.
Wow. That's impressive, because I would have said there's barely nothing.
Yeah, and lower on the alcohol, and yeah, cool vintage. It's a beauty. So I'll tell you my Mira's, inexperienced palate.
93 points, Carl.
There you go. And for Mira, this is about, is that an alarm? Oh. So my rating scale is just, do I like it or not? How many glasses do I want? And any other, words that pop to mind. Very simple, but hopefully you can relate. And with this one, it's like, oh, I like it. I know you said not a huge nose on it, Carl, but I love the nose. I still get a lot out of that. It's more delicate, but I get a lot. So yes, it's a yes for sure. Even just on the nose, I taste it and I'm like, oh yes. And then for me, the best part is the finish. So out of 5 glasses, this is a 4.5, almost 5. This is a
Jesus, Mary, calm down. We're just starting. Let's see. I love what you're saying. I love your comment on the finish, because I really, really think that there's a special feature of that wine on the finish. I 100% agree with you. And also have a little soft spot for the mid palate also on that wine, because there's that crunchy ginger that I think like lift everything up. It's quite something.
It's a beauty, and it solidified my idea that I think I like older wines. I think I do. Not super old, but like this to me is like amazing.
Oh, but when they're still vibrant and full of energy, right?
Yeah, but like that complexity, I don't think you can get this level of complexity on a younger one.
I guess that that's it. If you compare the nose from the 14 to the 16, it's 2 different worlds. Absolutely, 2 different worlds. at the 16, the nose on the 16 is so expressive.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's just jumping out of the glass. Sorry. Just like absolutely like super exuberant.
Oh, it's so much fun. Holy cow.
Yeah, and this is tropical on the nose. This is much more pineapple. I would say like grilled pineapple.
And it's interesting, if I go back to the 14, I get more lime, a lot more lime.
Yeah, but then you know what? Now on the nose, I got the same, a little bit the same of the lavender honey with the on the nose on the 14.
And that's what's so interesting is certain vineyard sites, like this is same vineyard every year, right? Robert's block, same block. Yeah. And certain sites have certain flavors that you would never get elsewhere. And maybe that little bit of lavender is one of the things for Robert's block.
But here on the 16, it's tropical. I said, like on the nose, it's grilled pineapple, it's apricot. Yeah, super tropical fruit.
Wow. There's such an explosion on that one to me. Wow. It's fascinating how they can be so different. Okay, so if we go back, so the 16 and the 14, 16 has lower RS, and it was a warm vintage, which makes sense of why the nose and the flavors are a little more explosive, right?
Okay. This is more compact. This is more concentrated. This is denser. And on my palate perception, there's much more tropical fruit. So there's a little bit more sweetness sensation, even if the RS is lower.
Interesting.
But yeah, the most interesting of that, there's not that bright citrus peel where like, so not as much acidity in that wine. So much warmer vintage, 2016 from my vintage chart, from what I know about the Niagara region, is 16 was known to be a very hot vintage. So it did not preserve the acidity as much as a vintage like 2014. But on the flavor, as a flavor standpoint, it's concentrated, it's dense, it's tropical, and oh man, the mid palate is just filled with that.
And the finish keeps going. So
oh yeah, I know, and that's where I'm going with that. The finish is just so long, and there's almost like there's white pepper, there's the ginger, but it's mostly like white pepper, and keeps lingering and lingering in the end.
And what's fascinating to me is how finishes work on your tongue, like on your palate. Sometimes you get the finish like closer to the back of your mouth. With this one, it's like the sides, the front, and a little bit underneath. It's a really interesting sensation that I don't get with a lot of wines on their finish. It's really cool.
Because there's noticeably less acidity in that wine. It's noticeable. You don't have that bite anywhere. It's softer, rounder, more voluptuous. It's more, I don't know, playful, right? Something like that, right? I don't know. Like, you know, it's, yeah.
Yeah. Holy cow. It's so fascinating.
Completely different.
It'd be so different.
Personally, I'm a sucker for acidity. I always look in my Riesling to get like that when it gets to your jaw all the way up, because like it's mouth watering. So I don't get that in there, but I'm not disappointed because the tropical and sexiness of that wine completely take my mind away of the non-explosive acidity. So it's crazy. There's only 2 years apart, And these two wines are completely different.
Yeah. And now with the 19 is the baby of the group. It's not ever left the winery. It's a complete pre-release. Probably won't leave the winery for quite a while. So this is a really cool one to see what a really recent one is like.
So can you see the difference of color?
Which ones are you holding there? The 19 and the 16?
Well, that's the 19 here, but it doesn't show. It's not as golden as the other two.
Yeah.
It doesn't really show here on the screen. But
I'm excited about this because this is how I learn. Okay. I am not interested in, reading a lot of books about wine. I'm more interested in experiencing it. And I learned so much by knowing, okay, this is a pre-release. The winery hasn't even released this. It's so young, the 19. And I just tasted it side by side with a version of the same wine that's like, 2014, 5 years older, right? Very different.
So yeah, when you get, I took the 14, smell it side by side with the 19. Now you realize that 14 got more honeysuckle. Huh. It's not very I don't really notice it at first, but now sitting in the glass for much more longer, because 19 is so purely citrusy on the nose. It's much more lime lemon peel on the nose. And now when you got the 14, you got the honeysuckle comes out a little bit more.
Amazing, hey?
I love the 19 nose though. Whoa.
It's a really sultry, intriguing nose, isn't it?
You know what? It's sultry, but I have like the mix of. There's also some tropical.
I get a teeny bit of jasmine flower. I don't know if you get that.
Not yet, but I'm almost like my mind is just only on the fruit aspect right now, and there's like that really match, no, not match, but the mix of citrus but tropical.
And again, this is going back to a cool vintage. So we tasted cool, warm, cool. 14, 16, 19. Really interesting. You're ruminating on that one, aren't you? Yeah, on the palate. Fab. Yeah. And what's fascinating to me is Carl's ability to extrapolate the wine, because he's tasted so many of these sort of verticals side by side that I want to know your thoughts on this one and how you think it'll age, Carl.
Complexity. There's so much going on right now. Things are not all together just yet, but I just can see. I'm not sure even if it's tropical, but it's maybe a little bit more orchard. That's
stone fruits, or
yeah, kind of a little bit of peach in there. But that citrusy, this is bright acidity. Yes. That's also, it's a little bit more like if you take 14, 16 as the two, let's say, end of the spectrum, because that's pretty much what it is. This is much more like 14. I think 16 stands out on its own with its own style. Even if 18 comes out as a warmer vintage, I would expect to hear from Sue-Ann that she harvested way earlier than usual or something like that. Because I get the 18 a little bit more on the style of 19 and 14. But geez, this is okay. That 19 has complexity.
Gosh, we're so spoiled, girl, that we get to taste these side by side. It's so
Yeah, this is like I have 18 and 19 here.
yes.
So I have this baby boy here who just hasn't left the winery right beside the 94 points. Okay.
94 points here. And the new baby. Newer vintage. Oh. Wow, that's cool. It was really interesting discussion last night around RS with Sue Ann. And she was saying, you know, people rave about, you know, 0 RS and a Riesling or just a couple grams or something. But with these wines, I can tell like this 19, she leaves a little bit of RS in them on purpose because it really does balance it out for these ones. There's high acidity. And so this 19, it's got 11 RS. Does not at all taste sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I have tasted other wines with 11 RS where it's like, oh, that's sweeter, right? But not at all on this.
Whereas the 19, it's different than the 18 here. It's on the texture. The texture is not as unctuous.
Yeah.
The 19, it's much more zippy, linear. 19, it's an absolute laser.
Mm-hmm.
It's an absolute laser precision, cutthroat acidity. This is like when I'm talking, like getting right into your jaw right there. That's exactly it.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay, so if we do the interpretive dance on this one, the 18 is like, and then this one, the 19, is a little more like.
okay.
Exactly what you're saying, right? That's what you're saying. Yeah. See, I got it.
What I'm saying here, I'm going to get to your dance interpretation. Okay. My interpretation of that super awesome wow dance that you're doing, 18, it's a little slower start. It's like a.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like an airplane who starts like you on the tarmac and just ready to take off. And when
you feel the power.
Yeah, exactly. And after that, whack, now you take off. But that 19, it's more that sonic plane who's already like flying at like
in the air.
Exactly. So
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zippy, laser focus. This is an absolute laser of precision on the 19.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. She liked my my interpretive dancing.
Of course. I fell in love with you over 10 years ago for kind of thing like that. So, yeah, super cool. Like the year apart, 18 a little warmer. I can feel it into the in the texture of the wine. It's a little warmer, definitely. So now that we're talking about, now I can see 14 and 19 connecting more. I can definitely connect 14 and 19. 16 is absolutely alone on his island, tropical, round, but concentrated, and like super tropical. Like it's a little bit like I get like the grilled pineapple. That's my main.
I was just gonna say I get something grilled.
Yeah, it's grilled pineapple. You know,
I don't want to say bacon because you know it's a white wine and all, but I get something grilled for sure.
Yeah, but I got grilled pineapple in there, so that's one of my. So, in terms of points, it's hard. Definitely 14. I'm standing with my 93. Definitely, I got 94 for my 18. That 92 plus for the 2018 for the 2019. 92 plus, I would say. I can't wait to see the complexity developing. Obviously, it's a baby. but I see the style here. I see the style. I see what's coming up in the next 5 to 7 years. That's going to be gingery. That's going to be like the minerality. It's off the chart. But doesn't have that little warmth, that little heat to bring a little bit of softness around the edge. So 92 plus on the 2019. And 2016, to me, it's a beast on his own.
Let's see if I can find which one it was here.
It's like, you can't mistake this one.
I know, it's so vibrant.
It's the fattiest, the sexiest, the sexiest. There's the one that you want to kiss.
Oh wait, no, a second. This one's the 16. This one's the 14. The 14 is really opening up too, as it sits there.
Has a nice spice showing up at the end with the 16 now. And there's a little caramel. That's that caramel and toasty spice coming up at the end of the 16. But definitely doesn't have that zip, doesn't have that zing. 92 points for the 2016 will be my call. 92 plus for the 19. I don't think that none of them have got to the 18 level.
No,
there's nothing, Daryl. Nothing's wrong with that because I like kissing with the whole like. Yeah, I like them all. That's the part that kind of Anyway.
You're talking about all the Rieslings, yeah?
Yes.
This is very, very exciting. And this is why Sue-Ann gets called the Riesling Wizard. Because of this consistency.
Yeah, that's right. Consistency, right? Consistency.
Like, we're not saying that every year is going to be a 95-point wine because, like we said, you tasted over 800 last year, and they were like 5 maybe that were 95 points. But to have 92 and up on 6 different vintages.
Oh, but that plot of land is absolutely special. That block of land with the right grape planted there. Now it's 30 years old. Absolutely brings something special. And one thing that Sue-Ann does so well, she let the vintage, she let Mother Nature does what she has to do. If she doesn't provide what's needed, she put the juice into something else. Only when she got the level of perfection that she wants, that's where she does the Roberts block. So of course we're sitting here like, it's not because she didn't send me 2015, it's because there's no 2015. It's not because that 2017, it's not what she, no, there's no 2017 because it didn't hit the level that she wanted. So
I didn't know that. Huh.
Yes, we have all high rated wine here. But exactly, that's the whole goal with Roberts block. My point to that, for 19 and 18, these are special wines. And guess what? It's $26. These bottles are $26 for wine that she does not produce every year, only on premium vintage. So when that happens, you always expect to pay something like $50 because it's not every year, right? No, $26. This is astonishing. And it was one of the reasons why with my 2018, I went from 93 plus to 94. That's because the price point was so freaking outstanding for the quality. And yeah, and now we're a point and a quarter under with the 2019. And you know what? Maybe in 5 years you're gonna replay that video and you're gonna call me an idiot because that 2019 will be the absolute rock star. So yeah, I'm missing a little bit of the roundness, a little bit of a in the mid palate. I noticed and I noted in my 2018 that a little bit of apricot, and to me that's where that orchard, like, it brings a little bit around the citrus. A lot of citrus, a lot of ginger, a lot of flower, tons of minerality, but there's a splash of apricot in there with the 2018. So to me, it brings both citrus and tropical. So that's a level up. When we talk 16, you're on tropical across the board, but the finish is something pretty special. So I'm at 92 there. So yeah, that's where we stand with that pretty cool lineup of wine.
Really cool. You know what just popped into my mind? I was like, oh, I'm getting a little peckish. What should we eat with these Rieslings? Do you remember Battle of the Wines last summer? We were invited to be judges, but the wildfires were happening and we couldn't do it. We're doing it this year, right?
Yeah, we've been invited to go to, I'm not sure exact, I know at Intersection. The arena is going to be at Intersection, and I think what's the team is whatever wine pair with grilled cheese, I think.
Ooh, so Sue-Ann makes some wicked grilled cheese, and she's promised.
Yeah, but it's for the Okanagan. Maybe we can ask Sue-Ann to email us grilled cheese.
Well, yeah, we'll see her maybe before that event. What I wanted to say, though, is they did Battle of the Wines with Rieslings from across the Okanagan and poutines. Because apparently Riesling and poutine pair as well. So I was thinking maybe we should try that tonight with 4 freaking outstanding, ridiculously good Rieslings.
I guess. Okay, let's recap. Natalie McLean gave 93 points to the 2014, 93. She also gave 93 points to the 2016. I'm at 93 points for the 14, 92 points for the 16. I gave 94 points to the 2018, my number 10 wine of the year for 2021. It's still one of my favorite Riesling of all time. And the 2019 at 92 plus. 92. Don't look for the 2019 anywhere. It's not available. It's sitting in the center of the winery. But yeah, with tremendous long-term potential. I want to review. I want to retaste that wine in 5 years. I want to see where it's at. But in general, at the end of the day, one thing that you've mentioned, and it's consistency. Yeah. Consistency in style. 3 out of the 4 are really, really in the same palette of style. 16 is a little bit on its own. But you remember, let's remember that the 16 from Intersection here in BC, how different from the 17. That's a completely different reason, though, because a change of a winemaker. But yeah. So yeah, how much fun is that?
So much fun, and I learned so much. Like, honestly, this is the best way to learn, guys.
Acidity. We found a boatload of acidity, a boatload of minerality, some crazy fun finish. Texture-wise, nothing came up close to the 2008 though. 08 and the texturally is on otherworldly, somewhere on its own, somewhere in the galaxy of Riesling. But in terms of sexiness.
And you know what's special about that one? It was her first Riesling from Robert's Block, I'm pretty sure.
It was. It doesn't have the designation Robert's Block because she was not there in her career. She hadn't had that plot designated yet. But the grape is still coming from the exact same place. It was not called Robert's Block back then, but the grapes are from the same place. But yes, when she started Sue-Ann staff, her first Riesling was the 2008, and Jesus Christ, from there she owns the right to be called the Queens of Rieslings, and yeah, love what she's doing. I love her as a human being. She's just an absolute firecracker. I like what she does, how she does it, and the wines speak for themselves.
They sure do.
A lot of fun. Lots
So
of
much
fun.
fun. All right. Well, we better go. We moved to a new neighborhood where it's like utopia. There are children playing in the streets, and our children are wanting to drag us out so we can say hi to all the neighbors. So, yeah, if you didn't have COVID right now, Carl Boucher, I'd say let's take some of these bottles out and pass them around. You know, everyone bring your glass out in our neighborhood, but we'll have to do this again next week so we can do that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. We'll need to wait a couple more days. So, hey, Nancy, I'm glad that you had the courage to get out of your comfort zone and say, you know what? This is not really my big gem usually, but I'm going for it. You know what, Nancy? You'll be blown away. The complexity of these wines is something that you rarely find. And you're up for an amazing discovery here. You can do a party with a bunch of people and open them all up. You can go, and I would say none of them really has to be open just yet. Like they all still have like some lives in front of them, so there's no rush. I would suggest to leave the 19 alone for a while, let it sit. Just do like Sue-Ann. Just keep it hidden somewhere in the corner.
Willing to sacrifice it for the learning, it is really interesting.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a good point, Mira, because that's the one who's going to be available for a while to purchase again.
Yeah.
That's a good point. You can sacrifice that one early on just to see and
it
get
does.
a couple.
It makes for the coolest party if you have a smaller group that like wine and you can have like 3 or 6 of these different years, same block, same vineyard, same winemaker. Really fun conversations you can have from that of what it reminds you of, which one you liked more, all that kind of stuff. Super fun.
That's our kind of party, Mira. We do that, just you and me, but that's
with different kinds of poutine, maybe, or maybe some sushi, or
sushi, poutine, oyster, grilled chicken. What else? You know, grilled flavored sausage. You know, you go to your butcher shop, you have that spicy Italian, you have the mild, you have turkey and cranberry, blueberry pork, all of these type of things with these Rieslings. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so versatile. There's so many things to go with that. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope you guys learned a little bit. I hope that you guys are excited to get that. These wines are going to be shipped on Monday, early next week. So we're going to keep you posted with tracking numbers and all that. So Mira Boucher.
Carl Boucher.
I'm ready to play. No, that's not. No, I mean, I'm ready.
That was like 2 weeks ago. The lewd Lost Inhibitions labels.
Yeah.
No, anyway. This one is powered by Riesling.
Powered by Riesling. There you go. Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, all of you guys across the country, a great rest of your evening. And be well. We'll talk to you next week.
Chat soon.
Bye.